Ooh. That game's too hard. And we're live. Hello. That was just a homebrew puzzle game that someone posted to the GB Dev Discord that I wanted to try out. Apparently it had some cool Super Game Boy features that only work on real hardware. So I wanted to give that a shot, and I thought it'd be fun to do that as part of the stream. And it was pretty cool. Very impressive for a homebrew effort, and also just too damn hard for me. Anyways, let me pan up now that the cat is no longer on my lap. Not that my face is great, but my face is a slight improvement over my torso and crotch, I think. Maybe. Have to ask some of my exes, I guess. Anyways, yes, Nelly, what is it? It's my cat talking. I don't know if the microphone's picking her up. Anyways, so today is Tuesday. Here it is beautifully sunny and also very, very cold. Not cold for most of the world, but cold for Victoria. It's right around freezing here, which is extremely rare. We're even supposed to get some snow later in the week, which is almost unheard of. It's great for me. I'm from Toronto originally, so my year feels kind of incomplete without snow, since I'm used to about 4 months of it. A little bit of snow is kind of nice, so I'm looking forward to that. Anyways, I'm here to talk about developing Game Boy games. I'm working on a breakout style Game Boy game called Bust Free. I just posted the first alpha up yesterday. And let's just boot that up so we can see what it's like. It's like this. It's a very bog standard breakout game. And we are here today to make it a little more impressive, a little cooler. The hope is that by the end of this series of streams or videos or whatever, it's going to be really cool. Because right now it's fine, but it's nothing impressive. 1 second, I'm just going to mute the Discord, which is buzzing like crazy. Mute, deafen. Maybe I'll just close the Discord. I don't even know how Discord works. I just got on it. I'm really late to the Discord party because I'm an old man and Discord is a young man's game. So, I've got this to-do file. Does this have everything I need? Title screen, game overs. The one thing I was thinking in particular is, does it have... Geez, I can't even remember what the one thing in particular was that I wanted to put in, so I guess it wasn't that important. I want to add a title screen. I want to start thinking about game modes. Right now, this is like an Atari game. You boot it up, it is one kind of game, and there's just no frills. By the time the Game Boy came along, games were a little more sophisticated. We had things like title screens and game over screens. We had multiple levels, all sorts of stuff like that. So there's a modality to a modern game. It shifts between different game modes, like the title screen, like the game over screen. So I want to start working on that. I think that's like a really good natural next step. And we can sort of start to see this. Like we've got mixed up in this bustfree.asm file sort of like this game logic, like things that are going on in the game, and also just like raw getting the game the game hardware initialized stuff. Um, and I think that sort of is an indication that there's an opportunity for a split. And whenever there's an opportunity for a split, there's also an opportunity for some flexibility. Like when you can break something into two parts, then you can start to think, like in this case, an initialization and your gameplay. You can start to think, what happens if I swap one of those parts out? Maybe I don't know. This is all just like random philosophical programmer brainstorming. But so that's what I'm going to do. I've actually already kind of started the split. I moved some constants out into a game.inc file. I'm going to follow that up by creating a game.asm file and see where that goes. So let's do that. And like, let's look at things. What kind of stuff belongs in the game? Well, like the init game over. These probably don't necessarily, well, draw window probably does. Well, you know, a few other things. I'm going to start with moving these two, however. These are the important things. I'm going to start with moving these two into a separate file, and game vars into that file. We'll need a section for this. I wonder. Yeah, okay, no, we'll still probably need to keep those global. This is going to involve. Okay, we'll need to keep that here. Okay, this is going to involve some surgery. I don't know exactly how straightforward this is. Like to what extent I'm going to be able to create a really clean, solid, clear through line. But I'm going to do my best to try to keep this like straightforward and understandable if you're just watching this after the fact. So what I did here is I just took these things that sort of belong to the game but aren't necessarily like the game, like the actual gameplay of moving the paddle around and bouncing. And I moved this into this game.asm module. And these things are not going to be relevant for the title screen. So let's start with this. And then I need to update the makefile to include game.asm. I mean, really, it's starting to get a little unwieldy. I might need to relearn how to make a batch file. And once I've done that, I might need to, like a real batch file, like real programming. Then I can just give a list of module names and generate all the RGB ASM commands and the RGB link command and stuff using the variables. Or I could use make. But for now, I'm not going to touch that. I'm just gonna get going with this. So let's build. We got a bunch of errors because turn on screen, draw window, and turn off screen are all not global and are all used from here. And then draw window belongs. Actually, draw window. I'm gonna take you. What did I just do there? Oh, right. VS Code. My only love sprung from my only hate. So now I can actually get rid of this ball.inc thing, I think. Because the only place where we use any of the constants in ball.inc is here. So I'm going to move that. Because draw window is related to the game. Like the title screen doesn't draw the window like this. And that's actually also probably true of this turn on screen. I am going to leave turn on screen there for now. For now. Turn on screen remains here. So let's try building that again, see how it goes. Do we call draw? Oh, we call draw window from here. That's unfortunate. I'm going to rename this actually to draw status. It's probably a better name for it than draw window. The fact that the status bar is implemented using the Game Boy window is neither here nor there, and we need to make a init game public. Oh, and now I can. Why am I doing this? I'm using VS Code. I can just do that. Let's get those tabs in a nicer format. All right, build, and I can't imagine this broke anything, but let's just double check. Let's reload the ROM. Let's go. Yeah, okay, nice. Worked like a treat. Delete that because that's what we're going to change today. So I'm going to make a commit for that. Okay. So now let's go back here and let's inject the title screen. And honestly, there's different ways we could do this. I could do this differently. Let me put it that way. And I probably, as things grow, I'm going to start to maybe do it differently. But for now, I'm just going to sort of inject the title screen here and have like a separate loop for it, I think. We'll see. And for now, yeah. Okay. Let me actually just I'm actually just going to do this kind of like this. Let's actually pull all of this over here. Yeah, I think this is probably a better way to do it. So I'm gonna pull basically all this stuff, which is for the game and not for the title screen, out into this, and that way, I think I can get rid of a init game here, or not get rid of. I can make a init game private to the game.asm module because we're only going to call it from start game, and then this just gets a whole lot simpler. And I'm gonna just go right ahead and start by making a title screen.asm file. And that's going to have this title screen procedure. For now, it's just going to return. I'm not going to do anything with it. Let's see. Let's see how well this works. Does that even build? Oh, well, no, I need to add the title screen to the make file. Title, I call it title screen, not just title. So let's add that in. Now what? Okay, so now it builds, and it should run still. Run. Yeah, okay. Yeah, cool. Let me see if I can do one better. Do we need... Let me hit up get grep over. Where is that called from? Just from ball. Okay. What about draw status? That is not called. Let's just put that in there. Cool. And I think I'm going to try to clean up that previous commit. No. Actually, and I even feel weird about this because we probably don't want sprites and stuff and the window enabled for the title screen. So I'm going to put this in game.asm too. Get rid of that, and that. Or sorry, no, I'm not going to get rid of that and that. I'm going to keep these there. Then I'm going to have a separate one for title screen. And that's going to keep the window off and the sprites off. Does that build? Totally builds. Cool. I'm like, there's no reason, I guess, why I couldn't, but I just use the same turn on screen for both and leave the window and the sprites enabled for both. But I just sort of feel like this sort of more cleanly divides the title screen logic and everything the title screen is doing from everything the game is doing, which I think is going to just make my life easier. It's going to make it easier to think about stuff. Where were we using, when we moved draw status over, I didn't need this in there anymore. Okay, that still builds. Okay, cool. So let me actually put that change. Let me put those changes in as well. No, no, yes, no, no. Just trying to keep these commits like single purpose and like not have a bunch of unnecessary extraneous commits. There's going to be one diff, and that diff is going to show what I did to move all the title screen logic from busfree.asm into game.asm. That's it. Okay, and I think I've done that. So now I can start thinking about what the title screen loop is going to look like. And right now, I actually, well, I will get to using actual graphics for the title screen in a second, but right now I'm not even going to bother doing that. I'm just going to wait for a key press. So we call up the input, we say, did the player press start? Pressed. Or sorry, and then we want to test the input start. I think I need to include that. Inc. And having included that, so we test to see if start was pressed, and if it was, we return, and then we just jump back to title screen. So, and we've got a syntax error. Where is it? On line 7. Oh, it's probably, or no, it's because you're not allowed a space, which drives me up the wall. No, maybe it's because it's backwards. There we go. I do remember having some sort of weird issue with spaces a long time ago, but it's also possible that that was in an old version of RGBDS, or it's also possible that my memory is faulty. So with this change, what should happen is we just get a blank screen. I should actually turn the screen on because I'm using HULTs. I can't remember if the VBlank interrupt fires if the screen is off. So let me pull up the LCD control register. We do want the display enabled. Don't care about the window tile map. Window is off on this one. Sprites are not enabled. The background display is on. Geez, and what were those for again? I need to comment that in both of them. Oh, that's for the window position, so I don't need this. And let me actually add that to the one in game.asm though, because I didn't know what that meant. And the rule of thumb is to always comment code when if you go back and look at it and don't understand it. Okay. So now, if this works the way that I think it should work, we're gonna just get a blank screen. Oh, actually, let me do it like this. It's very subtly different, but want to make sure to turn the screen off after we're done, which will put the Game Boy back into the same state it was before we called title screen. That way we don't need to make any changes to the game to turn the screen off, because the game expects the screen to be off. You know, it immediately starts by like loading the graphics and stuff like that. Okay, so that should do it. Reload ROM. We're just going to get a blank screen until I press start, and then the game should start. And it didn't. Oh, yes, it did. Did I just not hit enter hard enough, or did something wrong? No, something's definitely wrong, I think. Oh, that's what's wrong. The debugger is firing because, I'm initializing input much too late in the game. That's what's wrong. So I should do that here or something, like super early on before we start doing anything else. And let's put it here, but that does not belong in the game. The input needs to be initialized for the title screen as well. There we go. So now I press enter and bam, there we go. Game starts. We have a title screen. It's not it doesn't have any title or screen, but you know, it's coming along nicely. So let me make that input change here. Let me make that a knit input change as part of the refactor diff. So that's really where it belongs. And let me sort of have a commit for the title screen. And then let me get have another commit for that comment that I added. And now finally, with all that done, let's start making the title screen actually look like something. So I'm going to define some constants here. Let me pull up the. I think I can just do like this. Sorry, not title screen. Press start. So one day I'm going to draw an actual logo or something like that. But today is definitely not going to be that day. Let me put that in a separate section too. Then I need to pull up the RGBDS documentation because I don't do this often enough to have it committed to memory, but I want to, well, I will need to use this character map stuff, but not yet. I need to actually have the graphics first. So for the graphics, I'm going to be using this program called RGB GFX that comes with RGB DS, the assembler that I use. Cool. So I'm going to call bin title screen.gfx. So I don't have this file ready yet. So you're going to be watching me figure this out in real time. Joy. Should be pretty easy. So I'm going to open up Bust-Free. I did download a font. I got this from romhacking.net. I think it's .net. And it's just like a very, very simple little font. I'll zoom in on that for you a little bit. Looks like that. A nice digital clock font. Oh, I even get an exclamation mark. So, pull that back up again because I get an exclamation mark. The exclamation mark is officially part of the Bust-Free name. So what do I need to do to get RGBGFX to use this? RGBGFX uses ping, so I need to convert it to ping. So let me pop open, I've got paint.net, right? I don't have paint.net installed. And does paint support pings these days? I don't even know. It does. Okay, cool. So let me pop that over there. Let me pull this up. Let me drag that in here. Let me go File, Save As. Let me go back into Bust-Free. Let's call this font.ping. We're gonna, save it as a ping file. Save. I'm going to go into my shell. I'm going to run rgbgfx.exe. I'm going to pop this open. What do I need? Geez, there's so many options here. Well, let's start with -o, and we said we want to call it title screen.gfx. Let's see how well it works. And then the image we call font.ping. Okay. Bin title screen.gfx. I'm going to call this title screen GFX. And then it'll have an end there. And I'm going to then write a little procedure to load those graphics in. It can just be called load GFX because it's local to this particular file. So it's implicitly the title screen. And that should be super easy. The tiles are at 8800, so we set D to 8800. We load HL. HL is at title screen GFX. BC is the total count, and BC is going to be title screen GFX end minus title screen GFX. Just load A from the graphics. We write that into DE. We're going to increment DE. We're going to decrement. There's a faster way to do this, but I never remember what it is, so I always have to look it up, and I don't want to bore you with that. So we're going to just do it as like kind of a nested loop. Yeah, it should do it. It should, fingers crossed, do it. I believe that's correct. And do we call that? We don't call that. So let's call that. Let's build, see how well it works. Totally worked. And then I'm going to reload the ROM. Ugh. Accessing inaccessible VRAM. Did I not, is the screen not off when I call this? The screen should be off, shouldn't it? Turn off screen. The screen should be off. I don't get it. What the heck's going on? Did I forget a return or something? Somewhere? IO map. Now, the screen is on right now. And we're calling the load GFX. So that's a problem. I don't understand why we're calling load GFX with the screen on. I'm going to actually just reset and trace it because this is all super straightforward. What's the state of the screen? Screen's off. Oh, that's totally what's going on. I need to, yeah, I need to go back here. There we go. Easy as pie. Okay, reload ROM, run. Okay, so we're in the title screen right now. Let's look at the VRAM. And there's our tiles. The only problem is that it picked the wrong colors, which is sort of one of these problems when you're trying to like convert from two-color graphics to, or sorry, from like true color graphics down to, you know, two bit per pixel graphics. It's like these converter programs don't always recognize the right thing to do, which is fine. I can fix that later. I'm going to put draw title screen over here next to the text. And it's like, I'm just going to go total programmer style. I'm going to write the string of the title up here and like press start like over there. Super easy. And the other thing I need to do is I'm going to need to initialize the character map so that these strings are the right thing. So that's 9821 that I'm going to be writing to. Bust free text end minus bust free text. be just a super, super bog standard, very, very simple copy loop, which I'm going to basically just duplicate. There's like a keystroke I could use to disable column selection for when I don't want it. Like I want it most of the time, honestly, but then occasionally it just is a real pain. Anyways, and then here we're going to use the press start text instead of the, we're going to use draw 2 as our loop, and we're writing that to, let's do it over 9881. And then the only other thing is I want to use the RGBDS's character map function to make sure that my map format is correct. Because we're writing into the map, so that's what I mean by map format. Like I want these bytes not to be ASCII characters or character codes. I want them to correspond to the tiles that I have. So character maps. Is there any way to do this without well, let's see what happens. I don't fully understand this documentation. So let's hope that this works. Push C, pop C. This feature is awesome, but it's also new to me. I used to like write ad hoc conversion scripts, including some really like kind of fancy ones for like dual tile encoding and stuff like that using tries. But I'd rather just rely on my assembler. This is a new feature, and it's really cool that RGBDS has it now. So what I'm doing here is here A starts at 8A. In my tiles. So I'm hoping that I can just use this one command and RGBDS is going to be smart enough to know that. It means that B is at 8B and so on and so forth. And the only other thing I need to do is probably tell it where the exclamation mark is. The exclamation mark is at A7. So I really hope this all works. I do draw it. It all looks like it built. So let's load this ROM up, reload ROM, hit run. It totally didn't work before the reason I described. That's annoying. So I'm going to need to manually, I think, because it did write all these. It's just not writing the right things because it doesn't realize that. Yeah, okay. That is super annoying. Actually, I'm surprised that it didn't get the A right. Oh, it's because I'm using the wrong string here. That's why I didn't get the A right. Okay. As far as I can tell, this is how I have to do it, which sucks. Maybe I could write a macro. Okay. But whatever. X. Z, B, C, D, E, F. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. A, B, C, D, E, F. 0, 1, 2, 3. Now here, column selection mode. Let's grab all of these, turn them to 9, all of these, turn them to A. That should do it, I hope. Reload ROM, run. Nice, there we go. Now the next thing I want to do, I might do it off screen, is to adjust the image so that the converter gets the palette right. I'll do that off stream. That's gonna be just like messing around in Paint, and to whatever extent people want to see me do assembly language programming on the Game Boy, people even less want to see me mess around with pixels on a freaking 8-bit font in Paint. So this is fine for now. Okay, so that's probably good. Now I deleted from the to-do the whole title screen thing, but I want a nicer title screen. Okay, off to a pretty good start. We got ourselves a title screen. I'm going to take a very quick break. And then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to kick you out back to the title screen after a game over. But yeah, for now, I have this bookmarked. BRB. And we're back. I said some things, but I was muted. So what I said was, the next thing that we want to do is we want to make game over, kick you up back to the title screen. And this is where things are going to start to get interesting, because let's go take a look over at how we do things. Right now we start the game and then we immediately jump back to the title screen. And well, that's sort of not how we want this to work. Or sorry, we do the title screen and then we start the game. And the start game never returns, which is obviously not what we want. And there's no way to get it to go back to the title screen here. So what I'm instead going to do is I'm going to do something kind of funky. Instead of doing it like this, which is very, very straightforward, but doesn't work when you start to have tons and tons of different game modes that are all kind of like jumping back and forth between each other, I'm just going to do this. I'm going to call this. Naming things is one of the great hard problems in computer science. So what I want to do is call it like run loop or something. God, whatever. So yeah. So what this is going to do is I'm going to get a thing called I'm going to have a variable called game loop pointer. And that's going to contain the address of a function to run, or a procedure to run every frame, the game loop for a given game mode. And I'm going to load that into HL. And then I'm going to jump to it. I think they changed the syntax in RGBDS, so it's just like this. So let's sometimes call this a driver or something like that, but whatever. It's not hugely important. What do I call it? Game loop pointer. That's going to be global for sure. That's just going to be 2 bytes. It's a 2-byte pointer. So then I'm going to go over to title screen here. Instead of having title screen is going to be the procedure. I'm going to have a start title screen procedure. And this is going to do stuff like these things. These things go in start title screen. Oh, this is going to be globally callable. And then it's going to put the address of title screen into the game loop pointer. And then instead of being a loop, and this is like implicitly a loop now. So instead of being a loop, we halt, we do all our usual things, but then instead of jumping back, if the player press 0, or sorry, if the player press start, so the bit is non-zero, we are instead going to put in the logic here to turn the next iteration of the game loop into the main game loop. So we call turn off screen like before, and we're going to call start game, and then we're going to return. Now let's go back over to game. And start game is going to do all of these things, and then we're going to return. And then game is going to become a local thing that is only called via the game loop pointer. Just for consistency's sake, I'm going to put halt at the top like I did for the other, like I did for the title screen. So this is going to do all the usual game loop stuff, and it's just going to return. Let's see. I think that should work. Okay. Yeah, that feels good to me. Let's see how terribly it works. Like famous last words. That should work. It never works. As you can see, never works. Oh, right, exactly because start game here isn't updating the game, the pointer. So we're just going to do a really similar thing as we did here to start title screen. And we don't actually clear the screen properly, so that might also be a problem. I'm not even sure, was that a problem before I made all these changes? I feel like it wasn't. I thought I tested it, but I also don't see why it wouldn't be a problem, so it's a little sus. Okay, file, reload ROM. Let's see how it goes. Yeah, okay, so I need to actually fix that in the previous commit, but at least things work now. Lord. I need to test the game over functionality as well. So in start game, I'm gonna call clear VRAM2. Is that? It's not global, so let's do that. Put that into title screen.asm. Actually, let's make the title screen responsible for clearing the VRAM before we start the game. Yeah, I'm just like fidgeting, messing around with things aren't super important, but I feel like this is better. So now we clear the VRAM before we start the title screen. We clear the VRAM and we start the game. Because the implication is kind of the same. Start game assumes the screen is off, the VRAM is clear, it can just do whatever it wants. And so does the title screen. So that way, you know, it's like we always put the world into like a known, into a known good state before we start doing things. Yeah, there we go. So that's a good change. The other change, I'm just going to reduce the number of starting lives down to 2. So that way I can test to see what happens if I game over with this new game loop. Did I click wrong? Yeah, there we go. Whoops. Whoops. Okay, everything's working great for now. So let's go and let's save some of those changes. I don't want to save that or that. Woof. Okay, my commits might get slightly messy. No one cares. Not that important. I wanted to put the code that got the VRAM clearing back into the previous commit. So the previous commit was like a good state, but not important. It's like I've made too many changes now, and it's just wouldn't be ideal to go and try to back patch that in. So whatever, it is what it is. So this is good. This is good. I'm gonna just save this commit as is. Transition between states cleanly and use while loop, for lack of a better word. Cool. Cool. So now then the next thing is in this game over. Instead of doing all of this, I'm actually going to call start title, or yeah, Start title screen. I think that'll just work if I just call start title screen. Fingers crossed. Oh, I probably shouldn't have changed the number of starting lives in the previous command. No, it didn't. Right. Oh, right, because I gotta turn off the screen. And all that other stuff. Clear view. There we go. File reload ROM. There we go. And now I can jump back and forth between the game and the title screen. Beautiful. Okay. I don't know what I'm waiting for. It's going so well. I like watching it happen. Oh no. Okay. Neat. Oh no. I don't want to amend. I don't want to amend. This is a new thing. Okay. Jump back to title screen on game over. What would be a good thing to do next? I know what I want to do next. This is not something that I absolutely need to do right now. I need to do it when I start adding support for multiple levels. But it did bother me that I was just using this constant for the total number of bricks instead of generating it based on the level. So let's just calculate that. God, do I use it? Oh, I do use it. Okay, so it needs to be public for now. So where do I do it? I do draw stage, or nick game. In a nick game, I'm going to do, call. This is super, super easy little procedure. We're just going to loop over the stage. Honestly, I might put it in here, do it as part of this. Yeah, maybe I'll do that. That's fun. This one. So I'm going to actually split this up. This is now going to be called init stage map, the thing that we were doing before. Column selection mode is on, sweet. And then I'm going to call this init total. And I'm going to do it as two separate loops. I don't really have to do it as two separate loops. Because, you know, in an ideal world, I just go over the data once. But in this case, but like on the Game Boy, when you have so few registers and code is so hard to read, if you don't keep everything as simple as possible, I kind of prefer to, I'd rather use multiple loops than try to have like one mega loop that does everything. Especially if I'm not like trying to hyper optimize something. I'm going to do it from, what am I doing? I'm doing this all wrong. Okay, so this goes here. I'm going to do it from the map rather than from the staging because then it's in like a fixed position. It'll be in a fixed position in the event that we have multiple stages. Right. And the stage map, yeah, okay, the stage map is, this is, yeah, cool. Okay. Loop. Set load B to 16 times 8. I do it 128 there, so might as well do 128 here. 128 there, might as well keep it the same. All we do is, okay, instead of doing that, the count is going to go in C. So we're going to get the tile at A, or sorry, at HL. We're going to say, oh, is that 0? If it's 0, we're going to continue. What do we do to continue? Well, we just decrement B. And do like a very standard loop. If it's not 0, we're going to increment C. And then at the end, all we're going to do is we're going to get what's in C, and we're going to write it into total bricks. And we're done. And then, I believe it is in ball right now, annoyingly. Ugh. Load A total bricks. And then I'll just put that into B, and then we'll do it like that. Easy peasy. Cool. So we get the total bricks that we've computed. We compare, or we put it into B. Then we get the number of bricks that we've broken. We increment it by 1. If it is equal to the total number of bricks that we put into B up here, we return, or we go to game over, I should say. So I'm going to build total bricks in both of them because I put it in here like a fool. It does not belong in here. The other thing is, do we still need this game.in constant starting lives used in here? Type it's not, so we can get rid of this include. Thank God. Nice. Unfortunately, the only unfortunate part of all this is that it's really hard to test this without actually beating the game, which is really, really hard. But let's reload the ROM and just like sort of spot check and make sure that all this works. Like it's not doing obviously the wrong thing. And I'm gonna go to, I wonder if this is smart enough to totally fix. It totally is 48, which is 64 plus 8. That's the right number. We're good. We're good. Awesome. Okay, I'm gonna save this change. Like I said, this wasn't necessary. Compute total bricks. No. I want to get rid of that. Completely. This wasn't necessary yet, but it will be necessary eventually once we start having multiple levels. And it's just nicer. It's just the right way to do it. So I'm doing it now. Compute total bricks at runtime. is there anything else I want to do today? I've been going for over an hour, so it's probably about time for me to just call it. Yeah, everything else I might like to do is probably too large for now. So I'm just gonna call it for now. Um, and yeah, over the course of the next 24 hours, I'm going to tweak the bitmap so that the conversion looks nicer, so the title screen looks a little bit nicer, but not a big deal for now. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. Please tune in again tomorrow. Please subscribe. Or I guess you can't subscribe. Please follow and tune in tomorrow for more. Check the code out on GitHub. Make changes to it. Make contributions if you want. Whatever. It's all good. No matter what, I hope you learned something from this or found it interesting. Whatever. Take it easy. Have a good day. I will see you tomorrow. I am out.